Well, good evening, everybody, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on what time it is when you're watching this, and whether you're watching with us live here on Facebook or whether you're watching the replay on YouTube. Either way, good to see you. Thank you for being here, and hi. For those of you who have not had the pleasure yet of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float the Convention. I'm also the producer of other supplemental events like Fulcrum, of Aloft Streaming, and some other projects in the works that we're not talking about yet. And I want to welcome you to a very special edition of Step Chat. Tonight's episode, we are exclusively covering what we like to call our added value options at the convention. But before we get to that, I was not surprised in any way, shape, or form to see the very first person to log in tonight be Miss Stephanie. Miss Stephanie, let's go. Good to see you, man. Nice to have you here. Sherry Hatcher, I'm hoping I don't have to take out a small business loan. Well, Sherry, I don't know. I think you're more successful than that. I don't think you have to worry about it. So there's that. But yes, good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. So allow me to explain really quickly what I'm talking about tonight. No, just a kidney. Oh, nice. There you go. Okay. So tonight's added. So basically, this class. Hello, Nicole. Good to see you. Tonight's conversation is about what we are calling our added value options. These are basically optional classes that you can take at the convention. But I need to be very clear, these are not included as part of your registration to float. These are all options and added value things that you have to purchase in addition if you wish to attend them. Okay, so let's be very upfront about that and very transparent right off the bat. Couple things. Bergen, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Tabitha Miller, congrats on being so busy. We're having a step chat on Thursday. No, I just didn't want to burden Sunday night step chat with all of this added info because tonight's episode is at least an hour, if not 90 minutes by itself. So I didn't want to do that. Carol, good to see you. Welcome back. Good to have you joining us tonight. So again, I do want to emphasize that this is all added value stuff. Now, I also need to emphasize because I know that at least one person watching tonight is in our foundational program. So I want to make sure that I'm addressing that as well. Liliana, good to see you. The added value. Hold that thought. Liliana, really quickly, while I'm thinking of it, I did pass your information on today to Pioneer. So there you go. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I get it back to my focus here. And of course, then there's more people jumping in. Hello, Dominique. Always good to see you. Thank you for being here. Linda Hruska, good to see you as well. Devora, nice. Thanks for joining us. Terry Widener's here. Jasinia's here. Good to see all of you. Wow. I should do step chat on Thursday more often, or just talk about the flotation pass more often, I guess. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my original point. Like I said, I know that we have at least one person watching tonight who is in the foundational program. I do need to make sure that we understand going in that the added value options at Float, Murphy, I swear to God, stop. He's already doing it. The added value options at the convention are only for those individuals who are registered as full academic attendees. So if you are if you are in our foundational program, you are not eligible to sign up for any of the master classes. You're not eligible to sign up for bonus classes unless you're willing to forego your certification. And as a result, you also can't buy into the flotation pass because the flotation pass is tied into both of those as well. So there's that. Amanda, good to see you. Jen, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being here. So I don't want to drag this out too long tonight. I don't want us to be here till I don't want to be here till the calendar changes another day. So why don't we get to it right away, shall we? So let me get to where I can share. Oops, sorry, button there. Let me get to where I can share my screen with you, and we will get to this right away. What is going on? Wow. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. Not sure what's happening here. So hold on. Did I just do something wrong? Bear with me for a second. Oh, there we go. That's what was wrong. I did, didn't I? Hold on. Yep. Sorry, guys. Hold on one sec. Okay. Um, yeah, it's a long story, but either way. Let's get back to this here. There we go. Okay. Much better now. My apologies, everybody. I one of the things I always try to do when I get on this is I try to get the first slide up and running so that way we just go right to it. And unfortunately, I did not do that in this case, and I still had a blank slide sitting there. And so as a result of which I kind of screwed up and had the wrong, and so I couldn't find the right window, but it was there. So there we go. Okay. Good to see you all. Thank you all very, very much. Now, before we get into the conversation too deeply tonight, I do want to take just a moment to recap with you our masterclass instructors. As you know, back in May, we got way ahead of the game here and announced our masterclasses and our masterclass instructors very early in the process. So for those of you who may or may not remember them, I do want to take just a moment to recap them lightly. Adriana, good to see you. Thank you for being here. So I do want to take a moment to recap this for you. We're going to start off with Saturday. Remember, we have master classes on Saturday. We have 2 sets of master classes on Sunday. Well, I'm sorry. We have 2 classes on Saturday, January 24th. Allow me to be specific. We have 2 sets of master classes on the morning and afternoon of Sunday, January 25th. And for the first time ever this year, as part of our new after party concept, we have 2 master classes on Thursday, January 29th. So there we go. Hello, Stacy Chase. And so with that, allow me to recap that. So starting off with Saturday, the 24th, I want to remind everybody about Alessandro Patagne, all the way from Italy, joining us on behalf of our friends at Anagram. He is going to be doing one of those scenario classes where you're going to build the fantasy fairy forest. It's a very, very popular thing for especially a lot of the international artists to do an entire scene. And so they teach you the different concepts of how to build the entire scene. And Alessandro is going to be conducting that with us, courtesy of our friends at Anagram. So thank you very much. Up against Alessandro on Saturday afternoon are our friends from New Jersey, Dolly and Eduardo from De Lunes. They'll be doing an advanced organic decor class for us that afternoon. So if you want to learn directly from them as far as their, really kind of in-depth detailing stuff with their organics and everything else, that's going to be taking place on Saturday as well. So there you go. Karen Force, good to see you. Danielle, good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. So there we go. So that covers Saturday. Then we get to Sunday morning. Edward Munoz, courtesy of our friends at Burton & Burton. Edward's going to be doing a distorted design class, if I remember correctly. I really should have reviewed these classes before I got out of here tonight. But yeah, Edward is fantastic at what he does, and he's always a pleasure. We always look forward to having Edward. Up against Edward will be our good friend Brianna Silvio from Elevated Impressions, courtesy of our friends at Rainbow Balloons. Brianna is going to be teaching a business-centric masterclass for us. Again, all of these descriptions are available online, so you can check them out on the website at floatconvention.com. So there we go. So yeah, those are our 8 a.m. on Sunday classes. Then let's get into the afternoon where you're going to get some juicy stuff. First of all, Jason Sakota, the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Sakota from Airheads Entertainment. Jason is going to be teaching he's going to be doing distortion classes with non-rounds, and he's going to be teaching body creation and sculptural creations, but he's going to be doing so using a variety of techniques, whether it's weaving or whether it's distortion or what have you. Jason is known for not only his own six-pack, but creating very, very, very realistic looking six-packs on balloon people. So there you go. So Jason, if you recognize Jason's name, he was supposed to teach at our workshop last year that was canceled. So I'm glad that he and Edward both could make it to Float this time to teach for us. However, he's got some very stiff competition because up against him in the afternoon is the ridiculously, stupidly talented Adrian Winfrey, courtesy of our friends at Balloonia. Adrian is going to be teaching, bringing, again, what she does better than like nobody else. She is going to be presenting foils and latex combined and how to design them and how to build them. And she's amazing. So there's that. Naftali, good to see you, sir. So there we go. So yeah, there you have it. That's our Sunday. And then, of course, on Thursday, speaking of which, the one and only Stacy Chase will be joining us as part of our special, brand new, expanded after party concept. Again, all the class. Stacy is going to be teaching a really in-depth business class for us. That was one of the things that we had to commit to with the Thursday program because our AV team is not going to be there. So the Thursday classes had to be business centric because we didn't have, well, we won't have the ability to blow up balloons that day. We won't have the ability for a lot of stuff. So as a result of which, so thank you, Stacy, for jumping in on that. And up against Stacy is the one and only Josh Dirks from Project Bionic here in Seattle. He is going to be conducting a massive, like, social media, just complete workshop that day. So we're very excited about that as well. So thank you, Josh. These are our master class instructors. Again, these have all been previously announced. And again, if you want more details on their classes and their offerings, go to floatconvention.com and click on the classes page. And then there's a special link that'll take you to the general classes. There is a link within the page for the master classes. So there's that. Now, let's get to everything. Lisa McIntyre and Ty, good to see you. Thank you. Wow, so many people joining us tonight. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit about pricing because a lot of people have been asking, well, how much of the master class is going to be this year? How much is this and that, blah, blah, blah. So this year, we have come up with a couple of different options for you. I am thrilled to share with you that the masterclass pricing for individual classes and the masterclass 3-pack have all remained the same from 2024. We have not had to increase those prices. So the individual masterclass will be $99. So if you just want to take one or two masterclasses at Float, it's $99. Okay, per class. So it would be $198 for two classes. Then if you wanted to take 3 master classes, now I need to be very clear how this works though, okay? The way this, if you want to take 3, you do get a discount and it takes it down to $275. Now, allow me to be very clear how this works. With the 3-pack, what you get is one Saturday option, one Sunday morning option, and one Sunday afternoon option. So you would pick either Alessandra or DeLunes' class, you would pick either Brianna or Edward's class, and then you would pick either Jason or Adrian's class. And that's what would be included in this 3-pack. If you are interested in going to all 4 sessions without a flotation pass, then you can do the 350, brand new 350 Masterclass 4-pack. Okay. What this will do for you is this allows you to attend one class in each of those sessions. Please keep in mind, this is not come and go access. So in other words, if let's say you sign up for Edward's class and you're like, you know what, I want to go see what Brianna's doing. Can't do it. You are picking the individual class. Okay. So you're not getting, it's not come and go out. You're not getting to go to session 1, then you go to session 2, then you go to session 3, and you just float back and forth. No, you're picking actual classes. So with this particular package situation or this particular optional situation, each one of these is based on an individual class option. Okay. In addition to this, I need to be very clear that these prices are pre-convention. As is typical with Float, we will more than likely cut off enrollment for these classes about a week before we're ready to go. Maybe even sooner, depending on what our attendance looks like. The bottom line here is that this pricing structure is based upon before we get to the convention. After we get to the convention, the multi-packs are gone. You won't be able to purchase a multi-pass option at that point. The only thing you'll be able to do is sign up for an individual masterclass, and those prices will increase to $125. This is the same thing we did in 2024. This is the same thing we did in 2022. Pretty damn sure it's the same thing we did in 2020. So don't be surprised. If you want to save some money, sign up for them before the convention. Okay? So there's that. By the way, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I will be happy to circle back on. I'm gonna try to reserve most of the questions for the very, very end. Okay. So there's that. But now, aside from the pricing, you've known everything else. Everything we've talked about so far, you've already known. What you don't know is what we're about to cover right now. So at this time, it is my honor to introduce you to our bonus class instructors that are headed your way to Float 2026. I am going to go in alphabetical order, but I am going to go in reverse alphabetical order, because I kind of feel like the people at the end get stuck and blah, blah. So we're going to flip it around. We're going to flip it on its tail. So this first instructor that we are announcing tonight was literally like so close to getting tapped to be an actual instructor of the convention, like a general class instructor. This individual, so what we did, I think we mentioned this before, with the way it worked is that our sponsors got to pick a primary choice and then an alternate, right? So when we were doing the draft, they got to pick their first choice and then they got to pick an alternate choice. This individual was selected as an alternate by 4 different manufacturers at Float. Nobody else. No one else came close to that. We had a couple people that got tapped by 2. She got tapped by 4 companies. This goes to tell you that the sheer potential they saw in this instructor and her class offerings. And so I am thrilled to share with you that, well, I had already made this decision long ago that, okay, here's the deal. One thing or another, you didn't get tapped. Well, guess what? If you want a bonus spot, you have a bonus spot guaranteed. How can we turn a teacher down with this much interest, right? And so with that being said, folks, I want to give a big round of applause to Devorah Schneerson of Balloon Van Gogh out of Brooklyn, New York. Devorah is going to be teaching for the very first time at Float 2026 as one of our bonus class instructors. And with that being said, allow me to share with you Devorah's bonus class offering, Success Through Systems. Are you tired of doing everything yourself? Struggling to build solid systems or share your workload effectively? This class gives you the exact tools, systems, templates, and scripts to delegate everything from client communication to inflating to installations. You'll learn how to streamline your operations, refine your offerings, and build a team that can run your balloon business without you. Walk away with plug-and-play resources, CSR training guides, SOPs, workflows, and more that you can implement immediately. This is your roadmap to scaling with confidence, reclaiming your time, and finally stepping into the role of CEO as opposed to just a balloon artist. So there you go. Very excited about that. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to seeing what Devorah has in store for us. So there we have it. Congratulations, Devorah. Thank you very much for being part of Float 2026. Okay. I swear to God, this dog, there's 2 times a day. The moment I first, God damn it, dog. The moment I first sit down for the day at my desk or my table, and then whenever my butt sits down here, he's got to be up in my business like nobody else. Okay. So there we go. That's bonus class number 1. Or I should say bonus class instructor number 1. Bonus class instructor number 2. I have mentioned earlier in conversations with everybody that Float is expanding in new directions. As you know, one of the things that we added a jam room this year. We added, the fashion show is now formally part of the event. Many of our sponsors and manufacturers have been very insistent that Float grow to reflect the industry as a whole, as opposed to just the decor side of things like we used to do. And I'm in full agreement with that. I think we are now at a point where Float has gotten so big and Float has gotten so important. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, and I don't mean that arrogantly. But for a lot of people, Float has become really important. it needs to reflect everybody. That's why we added the foundation program. That's why we're adding, non-round stuff. And as a result of which, this next instructor is one of those individuals that focuses on the non-round aspect. But it's interesting because she has also been a frequent attendee at both float events and at Fulcrum. And I, for one, am thrilled. And I mean, her family has been a fixture at Float for many, 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 many years. And so the moment she said, "Hey, I think I'd like to throw my name in the hat and teach a bonus class," how could I say no? With that kind of support and everything else that she's given us over the years, how could I say no? And again, it's a class offering that may not apply to me, but it may very well apply to you. And with that being said, everybody, let's give it up to Melissa Force out of Aloha Party Experts from Sarasota, Florida, presented by our friends at Decomex. Let me tell you all about Melissa's class. Expanding your options in the non-round world. Does your hustle need a side hustle? Melissa will teach you simple yet impactful designs to help you bust through those never-ending lines at a party or large event. She'll show you how to create a menu board, create a setup, and ways to help close your line down when that awkward time comes. She will give her tips on restaurant twisting work as well as how to snag extra cash. If twisting was a goal for you, Melissa has 30 years of experience in it and can help you get started with easy-to-learn designs that will still wow a crowd. So fantastic. Excited to have Melissa joining us as a first-time instructor at Float. Carrie Ann, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for joining us. So there we go. Melissa, like I said, very excited to see her on board with this. So thank you very much to our friends at Decomex for chipping in and agreeing to sponsor her class. So fantastic. Okay. Well, that is number 2. Let's move on to our next bonus class instructor. This is another individual that applied to be one of our general class instructors. And sadly, this is one of those situations where an individual that has really good stuff to present fell through the cracks because it wasn't balloon specific. This is one of the challenges of having so many. This is that thing we talked about where everybody wants business classes, everybody wants this and that, blah, blah, blah. But then nobody wants to sponsor them because it's not shoving balloons in your face, right? So the moment she applied, I was like, oh, this is going to break my heart because she's probably not going to get tapped. But only because of content. Her presentations were great. When she applied to it, because some people will literally just like, here's a couple sentences, this is what I want to do. Wow. A couple pictures, whatever. She had full-blown stuff ready to go. It was fantastic. Loved every bit of it. And at that point, we said, you know what? If it doesn't work out in the big scheme of things, let's talk about a bonus class. And she was like, that would be great. And so I am thrilled to share with you folks. And I got to check my cheat sheet because I need a little help with pronunciation. So forgive me. Folks, I want to give it up to Marie DeHovney of Fun and Confetti from San Carlos, California. Now, see, I didn't get her name wrong, but I butchered the simple city name. There we go. Miri is presented by our friends at MSR here in Seattle. So congratulations to Miri. Thank you very much. And allow me to share with you her class, Beyond Balloons, Expanding Your Business with Complementary Services. Your balloon designs are stunning, but what if you could offer even more? Many balloon professionals hit a growth plateau because they're only selling balloons when they could be selling full event experiences. In this session, we'll explore how you can expand your business by adding complementary services that enhance your balloon decor, increase revenue, and attract higher-end clients. Whether you're considering event styling, rentals, backdrops, florals, signage, or lighting, this class will help you determine the best add-ons for your business, teach you how to price them profitably, and give you strategies to market yourself as a full-service event stylist. You'll walk away with a clear plan to elevate your offerings, work smarter, not harder, and become the go-to expert in your market. So congratulations, Miri. Thank you very much. We're thrilled to have you joining us as one of our bonus instructors at Float. Okay. There we go. Farrell, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Good to see you. Okay. So the next instructor that's coming to Float is a familiar face. And God love her, she's always in the thick of it. She's always getting in there like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I love it. Absolutely love it. She was one of our bonus class instructors in Float 2024. And I am thrilled to share with you that she is coming back again to teach a bonus class for Float 2026. Folks, it is, oh, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. I'm out of order. My notes are out of order. I am so very sorry. Well, let me, hold on. Hold on one second. Let's try this again. So this individual is stupidly talented. She really is. I love her to death. You'll also know her as one of Float's ambassadors. I love her to death. I am always a big, humongous fan of people that integrate non-round balloons with round balloons, and she does it as good as anybody does, folks. It's Arona Clemens with Designs by Cupid. Yeah, I do apologize. My notes are backwards on my sheet, so I do apologize. Arona is going to be teaching a class called Flamboyant Flowers. Join Arona as she shows you how to create her vibrant balloon flowers that incorporate dynamic design and provide your decor with major profit potential. In this class, she'll demonstrate twisted and distorted designs that she often makes as large as 2 feet across, perfect for decor upcharges, whether it be added to walls, garlands, and more. I love Arona Clemens. I adore her. And I'm so thrilled that she's going to be joining us. Again, both as one of our ambassadors and as one of our bonus class instructors. So there you go. Thank you, Arona, for being here. Kareen Tom, good to see you. And she was out here earlier. I don't know if she's still with us or not, but Designs by Cupid that's Arona. She was out here in the chat before. So there we go. Yeah, don't think I didn't see you. So there we have it. Okay. So now I got to take all that stuff I said before and re-edit it into this. So now, again, one of our bonus class instructors from 2024, teaching again in 2026. I kind of already did the build up, so let's just get right to it. It's Amanda Bruce, everybody, from And Why Not Balloons out of South Carolina. Amanda taught a very popular class last time, and this time around, she is going to be at it again. And for those of you non-round lovers, hand-twisted characters from start to finish with Amanda Bruce. Learn the art of bringing balloons to life in this class designed for balloon artists of all levels. From the very first twist to the final detail touches, you'll discover how to create full-sized, eye-catching balloon characters that wow audiences at events, parties, and corporate functions. So she is going to be teaching you how to essentially make twisted dolls, like the big balloon people. We'll start with the basics of design structure and balloon selection, then move into shaping techniques, layering, and character detailing. By the end of class, you'll have the confidence and skills to build your own unique balloon characters from head to toe. In this class, you will learn balloon selection, sizing, and inflation tips for durability and design, building strong frames and stable bases for larger characters, creating expressive faces and features that add personality, techniques for hair, clothing, and accessories, and finishing touches that will make characters pop with detail. No pun intended. So there we go. So there's Amanda. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Amanda, for once again joining us as one of our instructors at Float. Exciting times, to be sure. I got one more. Now, again, as I mentioned before, a lot of the people that are picked that are in the bonus classes had applied to teach general classes at Float. In my sincerest opinion, This bonus class instructors, these bonus class instructors, were the victims of circumstance. Allow me to explain. So, as you know, well, maybe you don't. When people apply to teach at Float, they get to specifically, when they apply, we ask them a series of questions because we want to make sure that the teachers are getting what they need or what they want or what have you, right? And we ask them, we ask them, like, what's your expected salary? We ask them all kinds of other things. But one of the things we also ask is, because some of the individuals have brand loyalty, is there a particular brand you want to represent at Float? Because remember, the instructors have the right to decline a sponsorship. In other words, if I want to teach for Globos Naranja, that's our fake balloon company that we made up for the sake of Float, and somebody else taps me to teach, I have the right to say no. The problem is, though, is that when you put it out there and you say, I want to teach for these people, well, everybody else at that point says, oh, well, then we're okay, move on, find somebody else, right? Because that's just how it is, right? This company selected our friends at Anagram to be an instructor for, because they do some of the most incredible work with foils you've probably ever seen. And they use Anagram a lot in their work. But as we all know, this is the year that Anagram came out with latex. See where I'm going with this? So it's not a matter that they didn't want them. It was a matter of timing. It was a matter of Anagram had to pick people that were focusing or showcasing latex as well. And as a result, sadly, these individuals were passed up. So nothing made me ridiculously happier when I saw that they registered for Float. And then I said, damn, let's have a conversation about bonus classes. Yes, you know who I'm talking about, everybody. It's Paradise Balloon Designs out of Northern California. Laura Lee, Mark, and Chris Bell, the family unit, will be joining us as one of our bonus class instructors at Float. We are thrilled to have them with us. And yes, for those of you dying to know, artistic autographed arches. In this class, the family team of Paradise Balloon Designs will show how they assemble their foil arches to their frames and arch stands so they are straight and secure, as well as the different arch and frame options that they use. They will also go over how they decide what materials to add or to use to add the wow factor, like backdrops, lettering, numbers, and more. They will also talk about their different prefabbing techniques when it comes to arch construction. And there we go. There's all the love blowing up all over the place. There we have it. Yep. Paradise Balloons is coming to teach at Float. I am very happy. I've had the pleasure. I've never met them personally, but we have had multiple conversations on the phone, and I just love this family. These guys are great. I love the fact they're career people. It's a family business. They've been doing it forever, and they know what the hell they're talking about. They live in the real world. You want to get some really qualities. These are some good people. So very excited about that. So there we go. Folks, those are our bonus class instructors coming your way to Float 2026. Now, some of you might be saying to yourself, but Steve, how much could this be? Surely some of these classes have to be like, Thurl, I'm getting to that. Some of you would have to be like clearly these classes have to be 50, $100 a piece. Nope. Bonus classes at Float. Pricing will remain the same as it did in 2024 and is the same it did in 2022 and the same. Well, I think it was $20 in 2020. But the Float bonus classes are $25 for an individual bonus class. So depending on whose class you want to take, it's $25 once again in advance. If you wait until after the deadline and you wait until the convention to sign up, then it's $35. Okay, so keep that in mind. Remember, bonus classes are held on Wednesday, January 28th. There are 2 sessions, 1 to 2:30 p.m., and the second session is 3:30 to 5 p.m. Now, I do want to be very clear. Unfortunately, because of the timing, because this year, if you'll notice, there's a full hour between those classes. This year at Float, we are presenting a full hour between class sessions. However, this was also based on the potential possibility of having as many as 14 instructors. With only 6, we might adjust the schedule because the thing about this is we don't have to double up classrooms now, right? So theoretically, these people could be over here and those people could be over here. And then we could theoretically just do a 30-minute flip. Because you also have to remember, bonus classes don't get nearly the same amount of attendees as the general classes do. But what I do want to emphasize is that the Designer Awards Gala, the orange carpet opens at 6:30 that night. So depending on how much time you need to get ready, please keep that in mind with regard to this. So there's that. How do we sign up? All that's going to be discussed shortly. So there we go. Okay. So, but I know what you're thinking now. But when? Session 1 at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. will be the following classes. Artistic autographed arches with the Paradise balloon designs presented by our friends at Mayflower. I do apologize. I forgot to mention that earlier. Please forgive me, Mayflower. Presented by our friends at Mayflower Distributing. That's going to be one of the 1 o'clock left. Flamboyant Flowers with Arona Clemens will be presented at 1 o'clock. And Expanding Your Options with Melissa Forrest also at 1 p.m. We tried to separate the non-round classes from each other, but the problem is there are 3 and there's only 2 sessions. So all I could do is the best I could do. I have no idea what that means. They will this year. I don't understand what any of this. So, Stephen, we will have bonus and master classes. Yep. Well, let me keep going here because I'm not done. So there we go. And then our 3:30 to 5 p.m. session, Success Through Systems with Devorah Schneerson, Beyond Balloons with Miri, and Hand Twisted Characters with Amanda Bruce. Like I said, there is a possibility that we may adjust this timing to 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. to give you more time to get ready for the gala. Again, because of the fact, and I was planning on the possibility of taking on more, and we still might. This is the way this works, and I know it's really kind of weird, but the way this all works, let me go back here a little bit. The way this all works, the moment we start announcing these people, suddenly it's like, I want to teach a bonus class. Now, keep in mind, we don't approve everybody who throws their name in the hat. So far, there were a couple of people that were denied. There were a couple of individuals that presented bonus classes that were denied, and in most cases, they were denied because they were either way too vague or they were too simple. It was one of those things where, for example, one of the classes that was presented is a very common design that you could find everywhere nowadays. And I know for a fact from teaching the same recipe myself, that it's not a 90-minute class. It's like, I could easily cover it in 15 minutes if it's inflated, or 30 minutes. 30 minutes max. So I'm like, it's not going to be a 90-minute class. So there's that. So there we go. Okay. Yeah, Jackie, you missed a bunch of the people, but that's okay. Good to see you. So I do suspect that there will be more people that will reach out after these names are announced to be like, well, why am I not teaching a bonus class? Well, did you apply for one? But that doesn't mean I'm just going to rubber stamp it. So I do want you to understand that there's still a level of we understand that nobody wants to spend extra money to go to a class that's like, really? There's nothing worse than refunding people. There's nothing worse than somebody storming out of a class and coming to me and saying, I want my money back. This class sucks. And so we're very careful about that. We try to be very careful about that. Now, we can't always prevent it from happening. What I always find funny are the ones that come storming out 5 minutes before class is over, demanding their money back. Yeah, not going to happen. But what we do tell people is that if you leave a class at any time after, I'd say if you leave the class within the first 15 minutes, you don't even have to give us a reason. You just say, I want my money back. It's fine. But there you go. And it's happened before, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So there we go. Okay. It is time. Never before in the history of Float has there been more interest in the flotation passes. If I'm not mistaken, we created these. I think we just created for the first time at the last event. I think. I don't remember doing these in 2022. I don't think we did. But clearly they were popular because people seem to really like them. The one thing that I have been asked more often by people throughout the course of the last year, when can I buy a flotation pass? When is it going to be on? So allow me to explain what the flotation pass is for those of you that don't know. Let's talk about, hello there, Angelica. Good to see you. I'm new to Float. Okay. Well, you're in a good time, so pay attention. Okay. So let's talk about, I did do it in 2022. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Okay. So let's talk about what is included in the flotation pass, the added value flotation pass. Bring it here. If you want me to throw it, you got to bring it here because I'm not coming over there. Whatever. Okay. First of all, many of you already know, come and go access to all 8 of our master classes. What does this mean? Come and go access means, earlier in the conversation, we were talking about master classes. And if you bought a master class for $99, you are locked into that master class, right? So if you sign up for Edward's master class on Sunday morning, that's the only master class you can take. You can't turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to go jump into Brianna's. No, you don't have that option. Okay. Because you bought a ticket to that class. Same thing like a movie theater. You're not supposed to, you buy a movie, you buy a ticket to see a movie. That doesn't mean halfway through the movie, you get up and go sitting somewhere else. Now, a lot of people do, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So with the flotation pass, you have the luxury of come and go access. So in other words, let's say you're sitting in Edward's class and you're like, he's just way too energetic for me and it's Sunday morning. Well, then you're out of luck because Brianna is just as energetic as Edward is. Excuse me. But let's say maybe you want to slow the pace down a little bit with more of a business class. So then you think, okay, I'm going to go hop over here and go check out what Brianna's offering. You can do that with the flotation pass. You literally have the ability to jump around. So if you're in Alessandro's class and they get to a point where you're like, I ain't doing that, you can go jump in DeLunes' class and see what they're doing. If Jason gets to the point where it's like, why did he take his shirt off? Okay, I'm going to go to Adrian's class, who I doubt will take her shirt off. But you see where I'm getting at. So the point is that you have the ability to come and go to these master classes. So you can sit in one for a little while, jump up, go to the other one. And all you got to do is show your flotation pass at the door and the security guard will let you in. Okay. That's number one. Next up, come and go access to all of our bonus classes. So once again, there's a reason that the asterisk is there because we're not entirely sure if we're done with bonus classes or not. So I didn't want to say all 6 because we may end up with 8 for all I know. Who knows, or 10, but there you go. So regardless of how many we have. Oh, and by the way, I should also note, some of our instructors have asked if there was room, can they teach 2 classes? So that's a possibility too that may be expanded upon. Just saying. So there we go. Hold on. Wait, Jason is going to take off his shirt. So I'll explain that later. So there you go. Are the master classes at the same time or are they staggered? Okay, we did actually cover this already. But that information, if you want immediate access, that information is covered on the website. Okay, if you go to floatconvention.com, go to the classes page and click on the master classes, all the times are there. Okay, but there's basically 2 at a time at 4 different sessions. Okay. Okay, so no matter how many bonus classes we end up with, once again, you get come and go access to all of them. So you can jump into the Paradise class, then you can switch over to Arona's class. You can then switch to Melissa's class. You can come and go all you want because, again, you're not doing that. Brianna, guys, you will be strapped into your seat for my class, so don't plan on leaving. There you go. Also, my shirt will be staying on. Just getting ahead of this. I'm trying to be the responsible Steve, so I'm not going to make a joke. There's it. And then Devora, well, I'm only going if you take off your shirt. So there we go. See, this just went to the wrong. Wait, what? Oh, okay. There, okay. Nothing. In chat conversation going on. Okay. So there's that. So next up on the block. What's next, you might ask? Brand new at Float. We've already talked about this. Brand new. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Float, Float will be featuring a lunch service for Floatation Pass holders. So you will get lunch and a flash class. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me explain. At 12 noon, you go into the room. There's a buffet. You serve yourself. You sit down. You have conversations and chats with all kinds of people. You blah, 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 blah. How was your class? Oh, my God, wasn't this great? Oh, my God, I loved it. Blah, 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 blah. Then at 12:30, bam, you get an exclusive 30-minute class presented by one of our primary sponsors of the convention. So on one day, it'll be Anagram. On one day, it'll be Gemar. And on one day, it'll be Vitalik. And they are all presenting a 30-minute class just for you. So that way you get to eat. You can finish your lunch while they're doing the class. And then at 1 o'clock, you're all done and you're out the door. So that's 3 days that you don't have to worry about feeding yourself at lunch, along with bonus content that is exclusively just for you. Okay? So there's that. And that's going to be coming as part of the plan as well. What is next? We've talked about this before as well. And I promised you all on Sunday night that we are now moving forward as if the headshots are not being sponsored. As a Floatation Pass holder, you will receive one complimentary headshot photo session on Wednesday, January 28th. Why did we pick Wednesday? What else is going on Wednesday? The gala. So if you wanted to get your headshot when you're all dolled up, as long as it's scheduled, you can take it on Wednesday. So as of right now, that's the game plan. Now, to be fair, depending on the response and the turnout of everything else of our headshot promotions, if we can move some more, then we can add another day. And it's very possible that we could schedule him on Tuesday as well. And then that way you can do it. But right now, bank on Wednesday the 28th. If we can expand it, then you can pick between the 27th and 28th. Okay? But there you go. Nicole, the beginner's class has no access to any of this. That is correct. That is correct. As you're yes, you can't buy into this stuff. This is exclusively for academic attendees. So there we go. All right, next up on the agenda, once again, full color notebook of all added value classes. So what does this mean? Well, for those of you that had the FLOATation Pass before, you know how everybody gets their own academic float book with all the class notes in it. Well, you get a second notebook. And in that notebook are all the notes from all 8 of the master classes, all the notes from the bonus classes are all wrapped together in a nice little bundle exclusively just for you. And yes, they're full color. This year, all the notebooks are full color. So there you go. Now, the reason there's a couple of asterisks there is because I am not committing to the flash classes having notes. This is a new concept. I'm not committing to the sponsors providing notes for the flash classes. So if we get them, if there are notes and they want to submit them, then I will absolutely include them in the book. Okay. If they don't, then they won't be there. It's that simple because I'm not holding them to notes because it's only a 30-minute class. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. What's next? What's next? You might be asking. What's next? Come on, guys. You know I got to have your back on this. 6, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 7, and certainly not 37, but 6 drink tickets for you to use at the Float social events. Now, once again, I do need to be clear. These are not 6 blank tickets that you just get to use whenever you want. You can't go to one event and get 6 free drinks. There's like 2 for 1. There's 2 for this. There's 1 for that. There's 1 for that, whatever. They're broken up, in other words. Okay. Believe me, my lawyers appreciate that far more than anybody does. So there's that. But those are included with your registration. One of the mistakes that was made at Float 2024 was that the drink tickets were put in the backpacks that were given out to everybody. And nobody told them they were in the backpacks. Not everybody found some people found their drink tickets like on their way home. And I felt really badly about that. So this year we're going to be a little bit different as far as that goes. So there you go. We'll make sure that you know your tickets are there. Okay. So there's that. By the way, the drink tickets, if I'm not mistaken, are valued at up to $12 each, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This is a biggie. This is a biggie. Devora, making sure we're not passed out on the floor from 6 drinks one night. That's exactly right. Lawyers really don't like that. Insurance companies don't like that either. 48-hour early access to sign up for general classes. As you all know, this year we have eliminated the ticket system. You are all going to be signing up in advance online. With that being said, I think it's January 9th. I can't remember. Whatever. It's 2 weeks before Float. Everybody registered for Float who's registered as an academic attendee will get to pick their classes on Float Friday, which I believe is January 9th. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I believe it's January 9th. If you are a FLOATation Pass holder, you will receive access on January 7th, 2 days ahead of everybody else, which basically means the FLOATation Pass guarantees you get the classes you want. Now, full transparency, Aloft members, remember we talked about Aloft. Aloft has some benefits too, right? The Aloft members get 24 access in advance. So if you're not going to opt for a flotation pass, but you are an Aloft member, you're still in good shape with that program, with the Aloft program. Okay. Or you're good with this option with the Aloft program. Because even though you won't get to sign up on Wednesday, you will get to sign up on Thursday before everybody else starts joining in on Friday. Okay. So there you go. Brianna, that's a perk worth paying for. I would agree. The locked in guarantee is definitely a thing. So there is that. This is similar. The ticket holders had the same benefit last time. You got to pick your classes in advance, and you didn't have to wait in the ticket lines because your tickets were handed to you when you checked in at registration. So it's a similar to that, but this year it's digital. So there you go. What's next? We've talked about this before. VIP early access to the vendor showcase on January 25th. So on Sunday, January 25th, the day that the vendor showcase opens, it opens for everybody at 11 a.m. But flotation pass holders and Aloft holders get in at 9 a.m. Where do we find the description to the classes? If you're referring to the master classes or general classes, you go to floatconvention.com, go to the float menu option, click on classes, and there you go. Bonus class information is not up there yet because we literally just announced it tonight. It'll be up tomorrow. Okay. Again, if you are a flotation pass holder or an Aloft member, you get to go in 2 hours early to the vendor showcase. Why is this important? Who wouldn't want first dibs on the trade show and without people climbing over you to get to stuff? Right? So there you go. Excited about that. I think that's a huge perk myself. And I, for one, that for me would be a big thing right there. Pray tell, what else is coming down for you? Oh, thank you, Hannah True. Hannah True. Angelica, Hannah True just posted a link in the comments here on Facebook to where you can see the classes. Thank you, Hannah. 2 reserved seats at the Designer Awards Gala. We need to be very clear what this means. If you are a flotation pass holder, you and a friend, you and your spouse, you and your employee, you get to reserve your seat and a friend, guest, family member seat in the gala. Seating at the gala, for the most part, is first come, first served. Okay? For the most part. There are some exceptions, obviously. Obviously, sponsors get their own tables. The people that are competing who are eligible for Designer of the Year, they get a table because we need to make sure they're near the front of the room so they don't take half an hour to get to the front if they win something. So of the tables that remain, you and a guest will get to pick. Now, please understand the flotation pass only applies to individuals with tickets to the gala. Okay? If you are a flotation, God damn it. Excuse me. If you are an academic pass holder, if you are a foundational pass holder, or if you've bought a guest ticket, you have a ticket to the gala. So remember, yes, even if you're a foundation member, even if you're taking the beginning classes, you have a ticket to the gala. That's part of your registration fee. So theoretically, a flotation pass person, if they're friends with a foundation pass person, they could theoretically book a seat for them. But you don't get a free ticket to the gala with your second person. Okay, let's be clear. What it means is you get to reserve a seat for you and for one other person. Now, again, full disclosure, we've talked about it before. If you are an Aloft member, you will get to reserve your own seat at the gala. You cannot seat a guest, but you can reserve your own. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. No, you cannot combine them. If you are a flotation pass holder and an Aloft member, no, you don't get 3 seats. You get the better of the two options, which in this case is 2. Thank you. Okay. So there's that. And finally, you will receive a surprise gift from Float. As I mentioned earlier in the conversation, last year's gift were Float branded backpacks that were given out to all of our Floatation Pass holders. I believe one year there were jackets given out. One year there was tote bags given out. Oh, you're right. Now I remember there were 3 because I remember that we had three things. So like duffel bag kind of things or whatever given out. We're not telling you what the gift is. You're going to find out when you get there. But I guarantee you it will not be some little chintzy little, it's not going to be a magnet clip, or it's not going to be a cup. It'll be something sizable, something decent that we hope you'll really enjoy and get some good benefit out of. So there you go. And that's the element of surprise for you with the Floatation Pass. So there you go. Now, let's be very clear about, damn it. Sorry, I'm getting old. Let's be very clear about what is not included in the Floatation Pass, because last year there seemed to be a little confusion. Hannah True, want to make sure I'm understanding no come and go access for general classes. We will address that in the end. We'll talk about that at the end. Okay? In the question section. But thank you. That's a good question. All right. So let's talk, because last year there was some confusion. So let's make sure everybody is clear. First of all, you do not get a registration to float buying the Floatation Pass. I understand why people get confused about this, because we have a class pass, we have a jam pass, we have a weekend pass, and we have a foundation pass, and they're all separate passes. So most people think when they see this, they think, I want the Floatation Pass, so I get everything. Well, what you're getting is all the added value stuff. You're not getting the registration to the convention. So you must be a registration ticket holder in order to purchase the Floatation Pass. This is an added value thing. Brianna, how many will be selling? I will be. And when will we purchase? It's all coming. Both of these will be addressed very shortly. So there you go. Okay. So that's number 1. Academic registration to float is not included in the Floatation Pass. You must already be registered for float in order to purchase a Floatation Pass. Lines are going to form in front of classrooms. You do not get to skip those lines. You weren't allowed to last time. You're not allowed to this time. I'll make this point when I cover the next one. You will have to wait in the lines like everybody else. You don't get to skip those lines because you have a Floatation Pass. There are benefits. Yes, you get to pick your classes ahead of time, but you don't get to jump in front of everybody. The benefit you get is picking them out and guaranteeing them. That's the extent of your benefit. There, we actually just covered that. The both master classes and all the optional classes are included in the Floatation Pass. And you do not get priority seating in a classroom at all. Okay? Because you have a Floatation Pass, this doesn't mean you're guaranteed a front row seat. The danger of this pass is when the concept was created, and to be fair, let's give a big round of applause to Mr. David Mahoney for his input on creating this pass. But if it was up to David, I mean, you'd be getting suite upgrades, you'd be getting front row seating only, you'd be separate lines, everything else. But the problem is that creates a caste system within Float. And that is not what I want to do with this. the intention here is not to make people better than other people. I understand that if you want to pay more for certain benefits, I think that's great. And you should be allowed to. It's business, right? It's not favoritism. It's nothing like that. It's business. At the end of the day, that's what it is. But at the same time, it doesn't make you better than somebody else. So the idea that you get to skip ahead, I don't have to wait in this line. No, there's only one group of people. There's only one group of people that get to skip a line, so to speak. And that is actually the Aloft members. As you know, one of the benefits of being an Aloft member is you do have a separate check-in line at registration. But that's it. So let's be very, very clear about this. Kareen, we're going to talk about that shortly. I knew the blue badges were going to come up at some point. Okay. So here we go. So everybody clear on what is included and what is not included? Okay. With that being said, how much is all of this going to cost? The 2026 Floatation Pass, with everything included in what we were talking about, has been calculated at $895. I am very well aware that this is $250 more than last year's Floatation Pass was. $1 million. That's funny. But guys, I think you would agree you are getting so much more. By the numbers, allow me to expand for just a moment. Not to lie, I was thinking like $1,500. Yeah, it's not gonna be that much. I can assure you of that. All right. So let's talk about this. And what I did here, is I priced this based upon float pricing, not actual pricing. Like if I really wanted to be hardcore about this, so there's 8 master classes, I could say, well, each master class is $99. However, we sell 4 class master pass tickets, right? So it wouldn't be fair to charge to say it's $792. When in reality, if you were to buy 2 master, 4 class master passes, it would only be $650. So there's the $650 number. We have 6 currently. We have 6 bonus classes. Again, this number could go up, but at $25 a piece, that's $150. Now I know what some of you are saying. Some of you are saying right now on this section, yeah, but I can't take more than 2 bonus classes. So what is that worth to me? Because you get all of the content. You're getting all of the notes. You're getting everything else. People have done this before. People have said flat out, I really want to take 2 classes that are at the same time. Can I buy 2 tickets for the same class? Yeah, you can, for the same session. You can, and you would get the notes from both. And some people even said, I just want the notes from that class. Well, then you do have to pay for the ticket for the class. No problem. There you go. So there you have it. Okay, so that right there takes us to $800. The 3 lunch and learns, or the 3 learn at lunch options here, we are pricing these at $75 a piece. The reason why we are pricing these at $75 a piece is because we are considering offering a lunch pass. I don't know that people are going to buy them, but it's something we've thrown in the back of our minds if we have to. Okay. Right now, the plan is just to make a flotation. But if we find ourselves short on budget and we need to raise more revenue, then we would expand into that as well. But the idea is to keep it small. So even if we do add on more tickets, we wouldn't be selling it to every single person that wants to take the class. It would be limited to the number of people. The headshot photography session. Mike Nakamura, who is doing our photography, I asked him flat out, what does this session normally cost somebody? And he says it ranges between $300 and $400 a person. At Float, we're going to be selling these headshots for $100. And again, if you're in a Loft member, it would be $50. So with that being said, we included our price, not his. Okay, so that's $100. At $12 a piece, 6 complimentary drink tickets come to $72. And then we have the 2 reserved seats at the Designer Awards Gala listed at $40, but we have an asterisk. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does that mean? So this year, one of the things that we have offered to sponsors, and we are going to offer to delegates as well, we just haven't done it yet. We are going to allow people to sponsor a table at the gala, which means you could buy a table. And you've got 10 seats at that table. So if you've got a group of friends, it's like, hey, we all want to sit together. We want to guarantee that we get to sit together at Float. Each person chips in $20. You sponsor a table for $200. And then you're all in there. Okay. We haven't done this yet. I don't know when we're going to launch that. It's not going to be for a while. But again, this is something that sponsors can do, right? So if you really want to make a sponsor, that you spend a lot of money with, you could go to your sponsor and say, yo, man, what's up with that? And get them to sponsor you a table. Now, keep in mind, you got to have at least 8 butts in seats. You cannot buy a table and have 2 people at it. You can't have 4 people. You got to have at least 8 people sitting at the table. That's a minimum. Okay. But if you want to have a little more comfort, if you don't want to have 10 people sitting on top of each other, you could have 8. And that would be allowed. So we're basing this $20 ticket price on breaking that down by 10 people, $20 a piece. Does that make sense? Sherry Hatcher, are you going to make sure that everyone that has a flotation pass will get a headshot all in one day? Of course. We'd have to. It's part of the deal. Off topic. What's included in the headshot? Is it written, spoken about? What I don't even understand what that question is. You'll have to expand on that because I don't understand what your question is. So there you go. So ironically enough, I couldn't believe it when I saw the number. $1,237. 37. But the flotation price is $895. So I would like to think that the flotation pass is still a great value. And again, keep in mind, there's things on here that are not even included. We didn't include the gift. That ranges anywhere from $50 to $100 in value, right? You can't put a price on signing up in advance because nobody's allowed to buy into that without a flotation pass. We didn't put a price on the VIP access for the showcase because people can't buy into that. So there you go. So yeah. I'd like to think that and there's no value on the combined notebook. Instead of being handed separate sets of notes for all the individual classes, you get the combined notebook. That's incredibly convenient. So to go back to Bergen's point earlier, I think if you threw all that stuff in there, you're right. $1,500 would be a realistic price to pay for all this stuff. And we're charging $895. So there you go. Flotation Pass tickets, masterclass enrollment, and bonus class enrollment all begin tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific time, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. Bottom line is, I got to get the form finished. So it's not quite done yet. It's been a busy week here at Blue Designers, so needless to say. And like I said, I've shared with you before. I feel badly. I feel really badly. Like spending time here at the shop, knowing that I have 1,000 balloon designer things to do and breaking away to do float stuff. I feel like I'm letting down A to the L to the EXA if I do that. So there's that. But yes, all of this goes on sale tomorrow. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. my time. Check your inbox because this link will not be on the Float website because we can't let people sign up that aren't registered for Float because that will happen. In the first time we did master classes and bonus classes of this nature, we put the link on the website, and people that weren't registered for Float were saying, "Well, I don't want to go to Float. I just want to take this class." No, dumb. That's not how it works. So there you go. No. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Um, okay. So we have a lot of questions. And I'm going to start with the most recent ones and I'm going to go back. Jackie, guess I worded it poorly. How many headshots do you get? Is it one or multiple, or are they sent to you afterwards? I believe it is one. We are going to have 2 different backdrops available. We are going to have a standard traditional corporate-y looking backdrop, and yes, a balloon backdrop. And the idea here is that Mike is going to be able to switch back and forth between whichever one he wants to do. It's my understanding that they will be available immediately. It is my understanding that you will receive it, boom, there at the event. Okay. So there's that. Corrine, if I don't drink alcohol, can that be deducted? No, we're not. No, because dear God, then everyone and their uncle is going to be deducting things out of the flotation. Well, I'm not going to do this. So I'll take $100 out. No, we're not doing that, guys. The pass is the pass is the pass. And remember, you can use that. The drink tickets can be used for non-alcoholic drinks too. And keep in mind, you ever bought a Coke at a hotel? It's like $6-7. So you're good. Okay. Going back here. How are you going to make, oh, that was Sherry. How are you going to make sure everybody will get a headshot one day? Along those lines, what's going to happen is we are going to be scheduling them. Mike said that he can do basically about 12 an hour. So when we get the schedule going, the flotation pass holders will be the first people that get the chance to sign up. And then from there, we'll see what else is available. It is my hope and it is my goal to have Mike there for 2 days. If we can get him there for Tuesday and Wednesday, that's my goal. And so ideally, I'd like him there 3. I wanted him there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we can't do that without sponsorships unless we sell a ton of headshots. And we all know that people they're not going to do this in advance. They're going to like, oh, I'll get one. So yeah. So there you have it. But yeah, obviously if you have a flotation pass and there's only one day he's there, then obviously you're going to be prioritized. Let's see what else we have here. Going back, scrolling back. Oh, Kareen, the blue badges. What is the policy for the physically challenged folks hearing and seeing? In the past, Float has offered a blue badge. The blue badge is intended for individuals that have issues with hearing, vision, and physical disabilities. And forgive my expression, but it has turned into the biggest shit show we have ever put on at the convention. At the last event, I was so angered by, first of all, the abuse of the program. We even went so far as to make people turn in medical, like letters from doctors. And we were getting some of the just, she needs special privileges at Float. That's it. And it's like, I mean, it's basically like, look, I paid for an appointment, give me a letter. Or I'm calling you, send me a bill and I'll get a letter. I know there's some people with legitimate problems. We even have somebody coming to float this year who is legally blind. Okay? And I mean this, legally blind in Australia. She carries a legally blind card in Australia. And guys, the blue badges are done. Between the abuse that we receive from people who apply for them and between the fights that develop at the convention between badge holders and non-badge holders, we're done. Legally speaking, we are not required to do anything we did. And somebody, oh, yes, you were. No, we're not. We are not. We are legally required to provide you, say, for example, with a chair. So, like, I can't wait in line. It's not fair. I can't stand in these lines. No problem. There's a chair over there. Legally, that's all we're required to do. We're not required to provide you a chair in the line. We're not required to provide you a chair at the head of the line. We're required to provide you with a chair if you can't stand. Okay? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. But the blue badge situation has gotten so over the top ridiculous. We had a situation last time where somebody said, you know what, I'm just done with this. I'm just going to go get new glasses. Now, I do want to be very clear about something else along these lines. This year, in an effort to cut down on everybody fighting for a front row seat, all of our classrooms this year will have a live camera operator in them who is going to be able to project onto the screen. As you'll know, before, when we had people in the classroom running camera, they were just recording the class. This time around, we have paid a lot more extra money to the AV team, to have camera operators in the rooms. So that if you are stuck in the back, what the teacher is doing in the front will be projected onto the screen so that you'll be able to see more easily. And all of the classrooms come with sound equipment. So all the sound will be amplified. So there we go. Hopefully this will solve a lot of these problems. Okay, Brianna. And I think this is probably the other question that Miss Stephanie's waiting on. How many flotation passes will you be selling? In 2024, we were faced with a unique challenge. We outgrew our venue so fast that we had to cap attendance at the convention. So we had to we had to tell people, I'm sorry, we're full, go home. Like, we can't do it. And at one point, the only people we could take on were people that weren't going to class, because we couldn't guarantee that there were room in classes. Thankfully, we're not that concerned about that in our new home. Our new hotel, for example, has 2,000 rooms as opposed to 500 like the old hotel did. We have multiple classrooms this time, lots of classroom space. And we even have an overflow room that we could potentially dig into if we have to. So with that being said, I am thrilled to share with you that we do not have to cap the number of flotation passes this year. We can sell as many as we need to. Now, the truth is, I think the price alone is going to cap it. It's one thing to pay $650. It's another to pay almost $900. I get it. But I think you're still going to see a lot of people buy the pass because I think it's a very good value. So there's that. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, Nicole. As a beginner, is there anything else the beginners need to sign up for? Need to sign up for is you mean have to if they want to take it? So keep in mind, like the headshots, that is something you can buy into. You can buy a headshot. You can schedule a headshot. You can do that. That's not a problem. The fulcrum panels that are taking place on Sunday, the fulcrum panel discussions that are on Sunday, you can take those, and there's no fee for that. That's educational. That's part of your registration. So that's something you can sign up for as well, or not sign up for. That's something you could show up for, and you don't have to have anything for that. And there's no pre-enrollment for those. People just go to them. So there's that. Um, but basically, the added value stuff, like the extra classes and things, as a first timer, no, you can't take those, because the beginning level stuff is intended for beginning level people. The number one reason why we had to separate the two. Okay. I want to be very sensitive about this, but I also want to be very transparent. So the reason that we wanted to add a newbie program to it, but we wanted to make sure that it was separated. And the reason for this is because we get every year, there's always somebody in a class that's not supposed to be there. And somebody jumps into a class that's aimed at advanced level people, and they don't know 90% of what's being presented. And so what happens is a teacher will say, let's do this. You need 18 quads to make this. We'll do this. And then somebody goes, I'm sorry, what's a quad? And then there is a collective groan amongst the class. And then the teacher, who is not supposed to address this, stops the class to spend time explaining, well, here's how you make a quad. So the reason why you're kind of boxed out of these academic options is because these are intended for people at intermediate to advanced level. And they don't want to, and they're paying extra money to take these classes. So the last thing they want is to be slowed down by a beginner. Now, I mentioned earlier the bonus classes, and we'd contemplated allowing people to sign up for the bonus classes if they wanted to. But here's the problem. Your certification exam, as part of the foundational training, your certification exam is like 2:30 that day. So you can't take either one. Now, I guess theoretically you could take the second session if you get the test done in time. And I'd be okay. I'm perfectly fine with allowing foundational people to sign up for bonus classes if they want to. But at the same time, if it takes you an hour and a half to take the test, if I don't know that it will, but if it does, so I don't want you to, what I don't want is I don't want people signing up for 2 bonus classes at 1:00 and then go, oh, I didn't realize I can't take this class. Okay. Murphy, we're not going home yet. So there's that. So there we have. Okay. Miss Stephanie, can you get a headshot with one background and then pay for a second? I don't see why you couldn't. It's so funny. Kareen's like, yay, last time it was so abused. And Miss Stephanie's like, that's terrible. It helped a lot of people. And I agree. I agree on both. I want to be clear. I agree on both of these comments. We got a lot of praise from some very important people in the event industry over our blue badges. They thought that was just amazing. But the problem is this is why we can't have nice things. The crying, the whining, the yelling, the fighting, nope, not doing it anymore. Okay. Carrie has a question. Do you sign up for all the classes as a flotation holder to be able to float around whichever class you're interested in? Okay. So when you say classes, are you referring to general classes or are you referring to the bonus and master classes? So let's get that clarified. Now, to go back to Hannah's class or Hannah's question. Hannah asked a question about come and go access in the general classes. The policy at Float is simple, and it's going to be the same policy as before. For the first 30 minutes, you are committed to the class you are in. So if you sign up for a class, let's say you take Steve Jones's class sponsored by Globos Naranja, and then you walk in there and you're like, my God, this Steven guy doesn't know anything that he's talking about. You got to wait 30 minutes. When that 30 minutes is up, you can get up and go to any other class you want as long as there's room in there. Okay? It's that simple. But the first 30 minutes of class, you are locked into the class you picked. Let's keep that in mind. So, Carrie, I'm waiting for an answer. Still, yeah, I haven't seen it that way. But I guess I can jump ahead. So if you are a Flotation Pass holder, you do not have to sign up for any master classes. You do not have to sign up for any bonus classes. And you will get the opportunity to sign up in advance for your general classes. But again, as I just described, you will still have to sit through the first 30 minutes of a general class before you can switch. Okay. How many people will each class hold? That's going to vary. Sherry, it'll vary between classrooms. Some of the classrooms I think are like 150. Some of them are 200. There's a couple that are like 95. And that's why we're not entirely sure yet if we're going to put, well, doesn't matter. We have to figure that out ahead of time. There's a few, like, for example, there's a couple classes we know aren't going to be, there's just some classes that are not going to be as big a draw as others. So we're going to be picking the classroom size based on that. When and how, you already answered on that. Okay, very good. Tabitha, fire alarm like the last float. I don't remember the fire alarm. I don't remember it. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't remember it. Okay, so Sally, I just answered that question, Sally. No, flotation passes did not allow come and go access. Everybody has come and go access in the general classes. You just have to wait the first 30 minutes out. That's it. Okay. Bonus and master, got it. Okay, cool. You're good there. Okay. And Sally's, I understand. Great. Okay. That's a lot of people in a class. Yes, Angelica. We've got about, at the last event, we had 930 attendees. So, yeah. And we had classes at the last convention sell out at 200. And people were mad. So, this is why at Float, there are no hands-on classes in the general sessions. Master classes are allowed to do hands-on if they so desire. But if you have 200 people in a classroom, how in the living hell are you supposed to make that practical? That happened at the last convention, where I told the instructor, please, dear God in heaven, do not do this. And he said, it's okay, Steve, I got this. No, he didn't. And it's not his, I love him for trying. Game got to recognize game. But at the end of the day, it's just too many people to try to manage and coordinate and everything else. It just didn't happen. Now I'm repeating myself. What was the reasoning to wait 30 minutes? I don't know what I don't understand that question. What was the reasoning to wait 30 minutes? I don't understand. So I need you to expand on that, Corrine. Contessa, you were late, I guess. Do we need to purchase the master classes separately from the flotation pass? No, if you buy the flotation pass, it's all inclusive. So there you go. Can you please put the slide back up with the advantages of the flotation pass so I can screenshot it? Absolutely. There you go. I'm assuming the what's included is what you meant. So it's just instrumental. I don't understand what that is. General classes at Float sorry, let's try this again. General classes at Float are lecture or demonstration only. You can't do 200 people hands-on. You can't. I'm sorry. I understand that most classes, and see, this is where we get a big problem with our international instructors, because our international instructors, and even a lot of our local, like some of the more regional instructors, they're used to having 20, 30 people in a class. So they're like, oh, but I have to do hands-on. It's how I do it. No, you ain't. I don't mean to be a jerk, but this is float. This is a much bigger gig. And it's no different. Honestly, it's no different than the old. I mean, IBAC was this way. World Balloon was this way. Any large scale convention cannot do this. It has to be lecture. And again, how in the living hell do you put 1,000 people in classrooms of 20 or 30 people each? You can't. It's not practical. You can't have that many classes going on at once. You can't have that many teachers. No event can afford that. This is one of the advantages, and at the same time one of the disadvantages to float, if I'm going to be completely transparent. Float has grown so large now, you can't get the individual attention that you may want, which a smaller event will provide. 20 people in a class, 20 people spending 2 days in a workshop. Yeah, you'll get a lot more attention. You'll also pay as much as you pay to come to float in most cases. But you're also not getting, you're getting one teacher. You're not getting 30, right? You're getting, in most cases, one brand of balloons. You're not getting exposed to all these manufacturers. So it's a different kind of things. Yes, I am repeating myself, but that's okay. What is the cost of the headshot? The headshot's going to be $100. If you are an Aloft member, it'll be $50. And if you are included in the flotation program, which I'm only saying this because if anybody's watching who's not a foundation member, then it's included. But being that you are a foundation member, you can, if you join Aloft before the convention, which is our streaming service, then it would only be $50. Aloft is $80 for 6 months of access, and it is $100 or $120 for a year. For those of you on a budget, if you were to sign up for Aloft now, float would still be included in your 6 months. So if you can only afford a 6-month membership at $80, that's fine, because you would still be, float would still fall within that 6-month time period. So there you go. I'm repeating myself. Like I'm trying. I did mention this already earlier. I think even just a few minutes ago. Yes, master classes can have hands-on options. It's up to the teacher. If the teacher wants to do hands-on, they can. However, I got to be clear. If the class ends up with 120 people in it, the teacher may just turn around and say, I can't do hands-on in this. Now, for those of you that really want hands-on opportunities, don't forget, there's all kinds of decor to build at Float. I had somebody reach out to me the other day and said, I actually don't want to go to class. I actually want to come to Float and just build and just be part of the builds. Great. She's like, I learned more doing that. Fantastic. There you go. So, yeah. So, but even the bonus classes, one of my, Amanda reached out and said, I really want to do my classes hands-on. I said, well, okay. If you've got 10 people in there, feel free. But what if you end up with 100? And she said, oh God, I was in that class. Yeah, you're right. So there you go. Okay. Mañana. $8.95. We are not at this time limiting the number of flotation passes. And they go on sale tomorrow at noon Pacific time. Are there any other questions before I call it a night? I have a dog that is driving me nuts. To be fair, he should have already been playing in the yard by now, so I understand I'm encroaching on his time. But here's that. while I wait to see if there's any more questions out here, I do want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for being part of my life. The events of the last 2 days here in America have been very emotional for a lot of people. And regardless of where you fall in the political spectrum, I think everybody at some point between the very public assassination and between 9/11 being this morning, I think a lot of people today in the last 24 hours have really kind of assessed what's important to them and who's important to them. If you're a member of the forum, that's exactly why I made the post I did today. I cannot tell you enough how much your involvement in my life means to me. And how much enjoyment I get out of doing this. Not just being out here on StepChat, but putting this event together and being part of this whole environment and being part of this incredible community of balloon people. And I truly feel blessed. Come here. And so, from my family to yours, hold on one second. I'm going to get off of this here. I just realized that I'm still sharing the screen. There we go. So, from my family to yours, thank you all very much for being part of my life. Carrie, how can I be a model for balloon dresses? You just did. Can you drop me an email or a Facebook message or something, and I will gladly, I'll gladly add you to the list. So there's that. By the way, for those of you who've never had a chance to meet him, this is Murphy. This is who's making all the noise all the time on StepChat while I'm trying to conduct a show, right? I will say, though, with all respect intended, Roscoe would just sleep the whole time. We would watch his butt at the show. For those of you that are new to the show, and somebody reached out to me the other day and says, "You have a dog, but why is there a cat in your graphic?" When StepChat first started, Roscoe was our shop pet, and Roscoe unfortunately passed away. We lost Roscoe on January 2nd of 2024, I believe it was. And he was always a fixture on this show. And so he will always be a fixture on the show. Murphy doesn't mind sharing the spotlight, do you? You don't mind, do you? He doesn't care. He's like, what the hell are you talking to me for? Why am I not doing this? So there's that. So there we go. Okay. Well, it looks like, all right, go, buddy. It looks like we're good for the most part. I think everybody's got their stuff down. So Murphy looks sleepy. Angela, good to see you. Yeah, he is. And so am I, frankly. So thank you all very much for joining me. I can't thank you enough for being here. The fact that so many of you would take time out of your lives to join me here live just means the world to me. So thank you. With that being said, regular episode of Step Chat this Sunday night. So for those of you that are going to wonder about updates and everything else, I'll be happy to share them with you then. So we'll be doing a regular episode of Step Chat this Sunday night, 6 p.m. right here, same as before. And thanks for joining me. Nicole, I'm so excited to meet you. I really am. You've been so incredibly active about the last month or so here on the chat. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at Float. Really excited you're coming. So there's that. Guys, thanks. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.